we're recording. Okay. So today we welcome Joseph Bernard with us, still living in Florence and driving up to see us today. So thank you for that. Joseph is a seasoned mental health therapist, which means he's been at it for quite a while, who remains optimistic about the human condition and always looks for ways for each of us to find our well-being emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Seems like a perfect message for this month, honoring fathers, reminding us that joy is the way and the path. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Joseph Bernard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was working on what I was going to talk about today last night, and I kept on thinking it's confined in too little space. So I went bigger with a piece of paper, and then I went bigger even more. So it's funny that it's really about stepping beyond the boundaries we have instead of playing small, figuring out how to be a larger expression. And I've been hanging out with Deepak Chopra, not literally, but and who else I've been hanging out with? A couple people that I've been really impressed by lately. And what I keep on coming back to is this idea that we're writing a love story about our life. We're trying to figure out what's the love story, what's the expression, how can we realize that and grow that story. And really, energy matters in telling that story. If you're half engaged, it's going to be half the message. The thing that I've learned a lot with working with clients, and I have some pretty intense clients, is that I honor the energy they're in, even though I know it's not working for them at this time. So I'm going to help coach them to shift that energy a little bit. I had a client the other day. On Friday nights, I do a group in Newport from 5:30 to 7. And I had a client that wanted to talk to me after at 7 o'clock on Friday night. I'm ready to go home, but I thought, okay, I'm going to suggest something because she was just vibrating all over the place, out of control. I said, let's do a little breathing into our center. So I began to show it to her, and she said, I breathed down in here, and she said, does my stomach have to stick out like that? Because I was trying to get a full breath in the breathing all the way down the center. And I said, no, it doesn't. But she said, I know. I'm going to go get my AI and I'm going to ask for centering breath. And it will teach me that. So I said, great. You have a way to learn how to do this. So I saw her the next week on Friday night group, and her energy had went like that. And AI showed her how to do that. It would ask during the week, are you ready to do your centering breath? And so she just kept on doing it. And within a week, her energy had kind of shifted a lot. She has so much trauma in her life that just for her to sit someplace without vibrating all over the place is really a task. So it was really interesting that she got that. She got a lesson from AI, and then she got encouraged to follow through with it all the time. So there's infinite possibilities out there for us when we need some help. I was listening to Deepak Chopra talk about meditation the other day, and he was saying that one of the things we really need to do is find that we're not the story in our head. that we're so much more than that. And that's really hard. I have a practice that I do every day, and the practice is I'm not my body, I'm not even my mind. And I do that practice every day. It's part of my yoga practice. And it's really a good reminder because so often we get caught in the stories in our head, right? And some people live according to the same story and have lived according to the same story their whole life. And it's probably not worked really well if they tell the same story to themselves. Chopra was talking about that in life we have a set point. And that set point happens when we're little kids. And how that set point is set up in us is the family we lived in. So if we lived in a family where there was apprehension, fear, and worry, that would become our set point. If we lived in a family that was open, expressive, compassionate, that would be our set point. And 50% of what we experience in life, even to this day, is from that set point. And the only thing that changes that set point, you can change it, is that we grow as human beings. We go exploring. We become more conscious. We don't have to live by that set point, even though most people will live 50% of how they experience life will be from those first few years in life. It's curious that we can change that, isn't it? That there's infinite possibilities. If we want to move past that set point, we can. And one of the ways to do it is spiritual communities. Or you can do that on your own, go exploring and find out, become more self-aware and know what's running you. If you can learn what's running, you can change it. And I find that really helpful with my clients. I feel like I've been reparenting. That's what my job has been for a long time. And it's really an interesting challenge. And one of the first things I work with them on is their internal conversation. And most people don't know that they have this regular internal conversation that's going on all the time. And so when I get somebody to go, oh, you mean I don't have to live by those the way I talk to myself? You don't. And that's for us too. I want to take it even out there further. And that is that we're not our body, we're not even our mind. So how we talk to ourselves it dominates us, but we could go beyond that. And actually, we're much more expansive than we realize. So the idea that when we breathe here in this moment, we breathe this way because the trees are out there and the air from the ocean is circulating through us. And if we think of that, we drop away into being a connection with everything. We are the ocean. We are the stream that flows by. We are the trees. We're everything. We're not the story that we tell we're the limited story we're telling ourselves that we are. And that just takes tuning in, and you can feel that, right? I mean, you could feel when you walk along the ocean, do you feel that you're breathing that energy in and it changes you? Of course. I've never met anybody who stayed totally bummed out walking along the ocean. So I like to remind people that that ocean isn't separate. It's here with us right now. And I mean, I think I love rivers because there's such a focused energy flow where the ocean just kind of comes in and out. The rivers are just all the time. And I live right by a river in Florence, and I just walk down to it most days and walk alongside of it to remind me that energy flows. And if we open up, we're in the flow of that energy. And that makes me feel really more alive when I'm touched in with that. Another interesting thing I found out this week, I was prepping for doing this talk, that the particles in us, 50% of it comes from this galaxy. Another 50% comes from other galaxies.
That much, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
think about that. We're not, we're creatures of the universe. And when we think of, I like, we have these planets, but we're much more than that. It would be really interesting if we could understand where these particles came and what did they bring with them, and they created this physical form and this mental makeup and everything. So I find that really interesting that we are beings of the universe, an ever expanding universe, an infinite being of an ever expanding universe. Do you remember that during the day? Probably not. One of my practices every morning is another yoga practice where I remind myself that I'm an infinite being having a human experience today. And how big can I be? How open can I be? How much inspiration can I bring? How much love can I share in the moment? How much joy can I bring to what I'm doing today? I I just think joy is the most empowered place to be. And to be consciously aware that I'm choosing to be joyous right now is empowering me. I don't have to live in the story of any of my clients, even though I think about them. One of them sent me an email yesterday and said, "Oh, I missed our Friday session. I'm so sorry. I had a job interview." It's just like, so sorry I missed this session. What I know indirectly from one of my other clients, she's an alcoholic and she was drinking also. So I listened to the story of, I received her saying, "I'm sorry." And I also know that in the midst of addiction, you do things that you're sorry about a lot. And I've been working with her for a year and we had 2 days clean lately. I mean, that's the drama, the story that just keeps on going on and on. She'll get a week clean or 2 week clean, and then she'll be back because she always has good reasons. But it's because a lot of it is just stuffing emotions and building up and getting more and more tense. And that's okay. That's her mode of practice. That's what keeps her functioning. My goal is to teach her another story, or hope she finds another story, discovers one. And so I'm always reminded that the journey for everybody is their unique journey. And if I can help them shift it a little bit, I feel like I've done my job. If I can help them find some more joy, if I can help them realize that the story isn't them. One other thing that I wanted to just talk about is the higher purpose. No matter what age we are, we still need to work in some sense that we have a higher purpose. And that higher purpose just could be in the realization that I am one with everything. No one's separate from me. Everybody that I interact with, they show up in my office because I'm blessed to have this opportunity to help them shift in some way. And they're my brother and sister. They're my family. We're all humans together in this tiny, small little wet rock in an ever expanding universe. Think about that. We're all together. How could we not be one family? How many galaxies do they know now? Is like 85 million or something like that. It just keeps on going. And people get so certain that their idea is what the universe is about. That's called delusional, isn't it? So we all have delusional thoughts. We all get off in our own directions. And the biggest thing that struggle with sometimes with my clients is ego, because they're sure that they know that this is the method for them. And I really encourage them to explore that. Because I have no ego that I'm right and they're wrong. That would be wrong for me to be in that space. Um, so I thought I'd also like to encourage you, that creativity, if you're not doing playful creativity at some point in your week, then you're not touching it with your soul. Okay? So finding something, writing a song, doing artwork, maybe it's the way you do your gardening, whatever it might be, that touches you in with your soul. Playful creativity. Can't be, does that make sense?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Creativity.
Yeah, I have a doodle thing. Usually if I'm watching something, I have a doodle pad on my next to my on my desk there if I'm watching something on YouTube or whatever, and I'm just doodling away, and by the end I'll have a whole page full of doodle stuff there. And what's really fun is then to turn that into some creative expression. You get a big canvas and then you just start doing that. You turn the doodle into doodle art, right? So, and it's playful. Playful is really an important piece of that. If you're seriously creating, it's probably not that great. Um, so let's take a little time to tune in. I'd like to lead a little meditation.
Should I turn off the lights?
I don't care. Whatever. Thank you. So what I'd like you to do is just be aware of yourself sitting on the bench or in the chair. And I'd like you to be aware, I'd like you to sense yourself sitting on the chair. Feel the chair underneath you.
Oh, thank you.
If you're sensing the chair underneath you, you're in sensing mind. The sensing mind is always present. So I'd like you to just sense yourself in your body, in this chair, being present. If you don't know what kind of practice to do for meditation, just sit and sense. You can sense the air flowing. You can sense your body moving energetically, any way that you sense, using the sensing brain to become present. I'd like you to invite you to go into a deeper breath now. Sense your body, breathe down into your center. And allow that to expand so that you fill the whole lung capacity and maybe even into the pelvis and into the shoulders. Breathe in a nice full breath in. And then on the exhale, just release all that. Any tension that you might be carrying, which happens in the world that we live in, people carry some tension, maybe a lot of tension sometimes. You're just going to breathe, you're going to exhale that out. And with each breath, you go a little bit deeper into a more relaxed state. Down deeper into a more relaxed state. Dropping beyond the stories in your head. You might even invite, if you have a thought that comes up, just acknowledge that you're thinking. Go back to the breath. And in that breath, in that state of quieting down, I'd like you to imagine, just feel the release, the letting go of everything you need to let go of now. And in that letting go, I'd like you to be aware now of, answer this question. Who am I right now? Answer that question in your own mind. Continue to be breathing with awareness. We're just going to move on through just a few questions. What am I doing now in my life that's meaningful for me? What brings me joy? One of the biggest blocks to tuning into these answers is that sometimes as social beings, we get caught in validation. We want to be validated by other people. I'd like to invite you to drop that need and just be in touch with you, your purpose, brings you joy. And how else do you want to express yourself that will feel alive, vibrant, and energetic? As you think about these questions, I just invite you to go deeper with the breath, letting go of any tension, any other tension you might be holding. Sometimes even the jaw gets a little locked up, the shoulders get a little bit tight, the hands tighten up. See if you can let all that go and let it flow out through the chair into the ground, sensing yourself being in the chair, breathing, releasing, and tuning in deeper to who you are. The more you tune in, the more you can let go. The more you let go, the more you become in touch with your infinite nature. And being in its physical form, acknowledging who you are, what matters to you, and flowing the energy of life through you. Touching in with your soul, appreciating your spiritual community. And understanding maybe some of the early training you got, your set point. You can change those set points just by becoming aware. If adversity is what drives you, is how you look at the world, skepticism, you can let that go and maybe be open, passionate for yourself and those around you. And one more image as you continue to breathe and let go and release is that you're as vast as you can imagine yourself to be, unlimited as you can imagine yourself to be. As you grow your realization of what's possible, even as we age, there's still more for us to explore. We can expand in new ways and understand that the process of being conscious helps us grow our confidence that who we are is just who we want to be in this lifetime. We get to choose. We're the conscious creator. In your body, I'd like you to take this, what we've tuned into in this meditation and what I shared today, and take that with you out into the world, out into your life, maybe into your interactions with others, and spread your joy, spread your light. When you're ready, you can begin to come back from the meditation nice and gently. Namaste.